Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for, having time to listen to what I'm going to say. It's just a matter of sharing ideas and finding solutions to the problems in our country called Ghana. It is time that we as a people and a citizen of a country will begin to offer solution to specific problems of our country, rather than accusing people for not doing well and accusing the government. And does not matter which government is in power, the same problem keep coming up. And today the one that I want us to discuss is something that has been in a system for a very long time: the issue of strike action in Ghana. You see, one thing we have to know for a fact is that if you work for the government, nobody forces you to work for the government in the first place. It is a service you choose to offer, and the people appreciate it. And we know for a fact how Ghanaians appreciate how some people, especially those that I'm going to talk about, the people appreciate them for their service they offer them. One issue is that we have not been able to run certain institutions as an individual being supported by the government. You see here, government hospital is run as a business being supported by the government. If you go to a place like Texas, University of Texas Southwestern, the one at downtown Dallas, is a teaching hospital. This teaching hospital is being run as an independent hospital and as well as a teaching hospital. The only thing they get from the government is to get a subsidy or some kind of help for the year, and then the manager of that hospital hires and fires anybody he wants, and he pays everybody what he wants. If you choose to work at Southwestern Medical Center as a lecturer or as a doctor, you are doing it on your own will. Nobody forces you. Now, the problem with Ghana is when somebody finishes school as a medical doctor, the person automatically gets a job with no filling any application. Or even if there's an application that one fills, it's just a matter of protocol. That needs to stop. In the first place, when you finish your medical school and you have your certificate, you need to apply for the job. Then you'll be accepted or you will not be accepted. I know some people will say, we don't even have enough doctors, so what I'm saying does not make sense. It's true. We don't have enough doctors. But you see, if you have a system when demand and supply are not in equilibrium, definitely there will be a problem on the other side. If demand is high, of you in need of higher doctors, the doctors will demand more for their service, right? But however, if supply is high and there's no enough demand, the pay for a job will be less. Now, if you decide to work for Ghana as a medical doctor at Korle Bu need to be run as an individual entity hospital. Then you give the manager the power to raise enough revenue to pay its own doctors and nurses and administrators and everybody at the hospital. Then the manager becomes responsible for his actions in the hospitals. You see, because today in Korle Bu, hospital like Korle Bu or Komfo-Anokye, the payroll comes from the central government. So the manager over there does not care what happens tomorrow, because his pay will come. The doctor's pay will come, and if it doesn't come, there will be a strike. The nurses' pay will come. Everybody pays come from the central government. It is true that when they charge any patient for the service provided to them, they go and pay to the government chest. That needs to stop. Because in finance, if you are not responsible for revenue generation to meet a specific target, guess what? You'll be relaxed, because it is not your burden to raise the revenue to pay the people in the first place. So you just follow day by, letting days go and come as you please. And you all wait for the month to come, and you go to the bank and you get your money. As we saw in a doctor strike, their pay will come even if they refuse to work, when they have signed to work. Now, if a hospital is run as an individual administration, then the doctors will be responsible to a manager specifically. So if you work as a Kolebu, your pay will be close to somebody who works at another hospital in a district hospital, which might not be big. The way we run administration is far and far worse conditions in our country, Ghana. We cannot continue to run hospital like a government entity that everybody has the power to do anything he want or she want. If we continue to do that, we will continue to see strike actions every in and every day, because everybody thinks that the government owes them. The government does not owe you, and the government does not owe me. We own ourselves the responsibility to save one another and to move the country forward. And that if we cannot take responsibility, that if you want to be a manager of a hospital, you should have the right credentials and be able to raise enough revenue to pay the workers and the doctors at the hospital. And then if that is not possible, then the government comes in to help that manager. So for instance, we have, say, Konfonochi, Kolebu, we have Tamale, and other big hospitals. What the government can do is that there can be a flat amount of money given to each individual hospital. Now, this amount of money will be managed by the doctor, the nurses, the health administrator, that is the CEO of the hospital. And this hospital will be managed individually. They have the power to hire, they have the power to fire, and they have the power, the power to generate enough revenue to pay its workers and bring profit to the government. If the person cannot meet the target, guess what? The person loses his contract as a manager. We have Ghanaians who go to private hospitals and pay the fee over there. So which means that there are majority of the people who can afford and will be ready to pay if they can receive good service from the government hospitals. So why don't we run the government hospital efficiently to attract more people, and also to even attract foreign patients that we can even generate revenue from them? Why do we keep crumbling out the system that everything has to come from the central government? Hospitals need to be run in an individual basis. Now, I also know that it is not everybody that can afford to pay the private fees that they charge some of the patients. That is why in America here, the patient that cannot afford to pay is put on a allowance for a doubtful account. Now, after some specific days or weeks and even a month, if that person is not able to pay the bill, the account is cleared and is sent to a different account where it goes to the government for the government to pay that money that could not be paid by the people claimed or classified as poor citizens in the society that could not afford to pay. Therefore, this gives the right to the managers of the hospitals to be able to make sure that they charge the people at the right rate, not exorbitant rate, but at the right minimum rate. But at the same time, those who could not afford are also given the right needed care, so that it does not become like you only have money, then you get health care. No, you get a health care before money. But if the people could not pay, or those who could not pay, get subsidized by the government for the hospital. Look, the Ghanaian guy who is managing the hospital that is a whole of a mess, when he begin to be giving power that you're on your own, you're supposed to run this hospital for profit and at the same time run a quality service, look, they will do well. It is the same people who come from Ghana, come to America, run these same hospitals in America. There are so many Ghanaians who run hospitals in this country. And I know some of them.